Welcome to Africa England Television Network, and this morning let us talk about GUTSARUZHINJI Pophecy, and we need to take a look on that very important and very interesting prophecy kuti zvakamira sei uye zviri kumbofamba sei. So let us go to this beautiful, very interesting article and have an understanding of what it is. Chinombonzi gutsaruzhinji chacho chinyi. So it's very important kuti gutsaruzhinji tiri kuti aiwa munhu wese ndiye anenge achiguta, not only the leaders. Gutsa vashoma ndio yaya inofadza vashoma, and gutsaruzhinji is the leadership by the people for the people, and that is democracy. So when you hear pachitaurwa nezvegutsaruzhinji, it was a democratic process which was being prophesied right here, and that is what we need to clearly take a look on and understand. So remember, a lot is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. A lot of people are losing hope, but we remain hopeful and we remain committed to this struggle, because there is nothing which is going to stop the mind of God. So this is Apostle Joel who says the revelation of GUTSARUZHINJI from 1940, Gandanzara prophecy. So this is the Gandanzara prophecy which God gave as a political ideology. The political ideology is GUTSARUZHINJI, that is democracy in my own understanding. So the liberation struggle was fought on the premise of GUTSARUZHINJI, or majority rule, one man, one vote. So this issue of democracy, there are so many narratives about democracy, but when people were fighting in the liberation struggle, they were fighting for democracy. They were fighting for GUTSARUZHINJI. They were fighting for majority rule. So democracy, in my understanding, is the rule by the people for the people. And so from the prophecy, President Mugabe and ED were never measured up to GUTSARUZHINJI, because it was clearly said that we were going to have Robert Mugabe, who would rule for a much longer time. Then secondly, you have another person who will rule for a very short period of time, but most painful period. Then you get into a phase of GUTSARUZHINJI, where you're going to have a president who is going to be ordained by God, and a president who is going to work for the people. So in the year 2016, God said enough is enough, in terms of lies and deception, and we are not supposed to be deceived by eloquence and political jargons, and we were deceived. So what is happening right now? You would see that the Robert Mugabe's reign, it was marked by lies, by deception, brutality, and we ended up having Operation Restore Legacy, and there is no legacy which was restored. So since independence, the two presidents failed to completely usher a new Zimbabwe into GUTSARUZHINJI, and this is the most difficult truth for most politicians without understanding the heart of God. So it takes great humility to believe a prophecy which was delivered in 1940. And he says, we can safely say Zimbabwe was liberated to be destroyed. We are officially in bondage. So he says, I watched a conversation between Trevor Ngube and Simba Makoni about the early days of Antichrist regime. Dr. Makoni's insights totally agree with Gandanzara prophecy that the concept of GUTSARUZHINJI was quickly overtaken by avarice, covetousness, extreme greed. Even the Commander Defense Forces had an interview one day and said the liberation struggle was hijacked when we got into the new Zimbabwe by greedy people, evil people who started accumulating wealth for themselves. So it's important to understand that God is not against women in leadership. He says we had Deborah being a prophet and a judge in the Bible. The Gandanzara prophecy never saw a lady taking over the mantle. So this is another very important, significant part where he says, yes, other people are saying, but that prophecy was clear, and it was not about the women. If women will come, they will come in the future. not now. So every Christian has access to God, and he says we are allowed to appeal to Supreme Court of Heaven if we feel that we have strong reason. So it's something. The reason why women had to be imported in this everything is because of feminism ideology, which is now being spearheaded in the nation of Zimbabwe. We have seen a lot of women who don't believe that, to a certain extent, men are superior. So you see different logics, different narratives of equalness. Yes, we need equal rights, but a woman will never be equal to a man. I've seen that. So sometimes I've seen women complaining when you employ men and women to say, okay, 5 men and 5 women, and you say, dig high, makomba, 5 meters per zuva, 1 meter down each. You see some ladies complaining, no, basarama kuti pairi arisi redu. It's not because of something else. We are not equally powerful in terms of human power, in terms of strength. Kusimudza chazvo ma 50 kg cement. Ndogona kusimudza ma 50 kg cement 50 pazuva nchimaburutsa murori. But it will be overburdening to a woman to be doing so. It's by nature. So the word of the Lord said, the second president, and the second president is going to be hard-hearted, and we now have that second president. So the prophecy said, it is hard-hearted like Pharaoh. Forget about reforms. Every other narrative created not exposing this by political analysts is from the pit of hell. God has exposed many pseudo-analysts. This is kingdom politics perspective. The third president is the one to usher in GUTSARUZHINJI. This is a Zimbabwe project, not political party vision. It's about Team Zimbabwe. The third president and his team understand the ideology doctrine of GUTSARUZHINJI. So it's easy to expose chaff from the wheat as we approach the coming of the third president at 1200. And remember, right now we are at 1145, according to Apostle Joe. So the third president and this inclusive government are part of the 1200 generation. God would have trained them in the wilderness. Chances will be exposed. The third president will reconnect Zimbabwe with the liberation struggle ideals. GUTSARUZHINJI political ideology is the one to usher the Switzerland or Dubai of African vision. Outside GUTSARUZHINJI vision, it's all about primitive accumulation of wealth at the expense of the majority. The third president has a heart for the people. It's never about his academic qualifications or eloquence. It takes faith in the prophecy to believe this truth. It is a heart that comes from God for loving his sheep. He has a heart like King David, a man after God's heart. They understand servant leadership. Leadership is about serving people and not fighting for positions. Strife is an attribute from the kingdom of darkness. And this is very important in Zimbabwe to note that a new Zimbabwe is coming, but this is a Gandanzara prophecy with a clear explanation which we needed to share. And this is from Apostle Joel. So your views are very important, and we believe change is coming to the nation of Zimbabwe. How? I don't know those who are saying my reforms this, my reforms that. I don't see how reforms will come to the nation of Zimbabwe. Personally, I don't see. With this current government, I don't see reforms coming. And how are we going to achieve them? It's only God who is going to deal with this matter. It's only God who is going to communicate with some people to restore what God prepared for the nation of Zimbabwe. This is my belief. This is my understanding. So personally, I remain committed to this struggle, but I don't believe Kutikune Zvichauya from SADC. This is my own position. This is my own thinking. I do not know what other people think. We'll see. Time will tell. If SADC is going to intervene and cause elections, time will tell. Yes, but my own understanding and my own analysis from the events which are happening and from the prophecies which are being given, I don't see SADC coming in to intervene. But the importance of SADC, a lot of people understand, Kuchi, that report, SUM report of SADC, is what was supposed to be there for this whole process which is coming or which is following to flow smoothly. So the SADC summit, which adopted that SUOM report, sealed everything. And the denial of the elders to get into Zimbabwe to deal with this matter then helped also to seal everything, which means there is no action which is going to be taken by SADC to stop this Gandanzara and GUTSARUZHINJI Pophecy. No action will come from SADC when that day comes. And that is very important and significant, which means Zimbabwe will be able to make its own decisions as the time progresses. So this is what is happening. I do not know, guys, what you think. This is just a prophecy which is actually explaining. Let us talk in the comments.